During a family meal at her parents' house, my girlfriend looked at me with a soft, practiced smile and said, "Either you cover my brother's university fees, or we're finished." That's the least a genuine man does for the family he plans to join. Her mother and father both nodded, as if this was the most reasonable thing in the world. I didn't argue. I didn't speak at all. I simply returned the smile, stood up, and walked out. 2 weeks later, she discovered exactly where that money had gone, and it was nowhere near her brother. You learn who people truly are by the expression they wear when they believe you owe them something. It's a calm, unshakable certainty. A look that says, "This already belongs to me. You're merely keeping it warm." I saw that expression that night, on the woman I thought I loved, and on both her parents. In that silent instant, every illusion shattered. My name is Liam. I run a small custom furniture shop. I take weathered, forgotten timber and shape it into pieces that endure. Tables, chairs, beds full of history and resilience. It's a modest life, but an honest one. I thought my 4-year relationship with Chloe was built the same way. Solid, lasting, mutual. We kept separate accounts, yet aimed for common dreams. I admired her fire, her goals. I was never her wallet. I was her partner. At least, that's the version I believed. Her family came with the deal. Her father, Robert, judged everyone by the size of their investment accounts. Her mother, Carol, acted as though her daughter had been born to live in luxury. And her younger brother, Leo, 19, never held a job, convinced the universe existed to serve him. They were courteous enough, but their politeness always carried a silent appraisal, like they were checking my net worth in real time. There's something else you should know. My world doesn't revolve only around me. I have a younger sister, Sarah. A year ago, her husband, my best friend since we were kids, lost a long, savage battle with cancer. He left her with 2 small children and medical bills that could bankrupt the small country. Sarah is the toughest person I've ever met. She works double shifts, never complains, and still fights me when I try to help too much. Pride runs deep in her. That burden sits quietly in my chest every single day. The dinner started normally enough, Robert boasting about stocks, Carol trading neighborhood gossip. Then, after the plates were cleared, the trap sprang. Robert cleared his throat like a judge about to deliver a verdict. "Liam," he began, "Leo has been accepted into an elite private college. We couldn't be prouder." I offered congratulations. Leo barely glanced up from his phone. Then Chloe reached over, rested her hand on mine, and smiled the sweetest, iciest smile I'd ever seen. "We've all talked it over," she said, nodding toward her parents. "And we think this is the perfect moment for you to prove your commitment to this family." I felt the ground disappear. She went on, voice light, as if she were asking for the butter. "We'd like you to cover Leo's tuition. At least the first year. A single year cost more than most people's houses." When my face didn't light up with gratitude, her smile hardened. The warmth drained away. "Pay for my brother's college," she said quietly, "or we're through." That's the bare minimum a real man does for the family he intends to marry into. Her parents kept nodding, righteous and expectant. This wasn't a discussion. It was extortion with better table manners. In that moment, the fog lifted. My value to them had never been my love, my character, or the calluses on my hands. My value was measured strictly in dollars. I wasn't a future son-in-law. I was an ATM with a pulse. I didn't yell. I didn't list reasons. I looked at each of them, at their serene, entitled faces, and saw the rest of my life if I stayed. An endless parade of price tags labeled real man. Then I thought of Sarah dragging herself out of bed at dawn, calculating which bill she could delay so her son could have new sneakers. The contrast nearly made me laugh out loud. I rose, laid my napkin beside my plate, gave them the calmest, most genuine smile I'd felt in years, and left. Chloe called after me, first confused, then furious. I never broke stride. I walked to my truck, started the engine, and drove into the night knowing one thing with absolute certainty. My money was going to rescue a family, just not theirs. Update 1. 1 week has passed since I walked away from that table. 7 days of total radio silence from me, 7 days of mounting panic from them. The night I left, I didn't go home. I drove straight to Sarah's place. She was awake, drowning in paperwork under a single kitchen bulb, statements, collection notices, insurance explanations of benefits. She tried to smile when she saw me, but exhaustion leaked from every line in her face. We barely spoke. I made tea, sat with her, watched her kids sleep, then left before sunrise with steel in my spine. First thing next morning, I liquidated every investment I'd spent years building. The nest egg meant for a house, for a future, for the life I thought I'd have with Chloe. It was a life-changing amount, and I was about to change the right life. Meanwhile, the messages began. Chloe, what was that about? You just stormed out like a child. Call me. Robert. Young man, your behavior was unacceptable. You humiliated my daughter. We expect an apology. I ignored them all. I met with my financial advisor and an attorney. We created an irrevocable trust for Sarah's children. By day, for their tone shifted to bargaining. Chloe, okay, maybe we ambushed you, but this is still an investment in our future. My parents will respect you for it. Carol, Chloe is heartbroken. A real man steps up for family. That phrase, real man, was starting to feel like a ransom note. I boxed every item Chloe had ever left at my place, changed every lock and code, and kept working. Then the 2 deliveries happened on the same day. 1 check to the hospital, balance 0. 1 check to the mortgage company, balance 0. Sarah rang me sobbing, so hard she could barely breathe. Liam, what did you do? I made the best investment of my life, I told her. Your husband would want you free. She laughed through the tears, a sound I hadn't heard in over a year. That afternoon, I finally replied. To Chloe, Leo, Robert, and Carol. 1 email. Subject, a real man. Body. You were right. A real man provides for his family, protects them, and secures their future. That is why the entire sum you demanded for Leo's tuition has been used to erase my widowed sister's medical debt and pay off her home. I consider that the bare minimum. Our relationship is over. Chloe's possessions will be delivered tomorrow. Attachments. 2. Paid in full statements. Send. Block. Silence. Update 2. 2 weeks after the email. My end remains quiet. Theirs has become a circus fire. Mutual friends filled me in on the immediate aftermath. Chloe lost her mind, screaming, name-calling, claiming I stole money that was basically hers. Robert phoned his attorney ranting about lawsuits and breach of verbal agreement. The attorney apparently laughed him out of the office. Next came the smear campaign. Chloe and Carol told anyone who would listen that I was cruel, unstable, that I had dangled security in front of Chloe only to rip it away and give everything to my irresponsible sister. It backfired spectacularly. We all live in the same mid-sized town. Everyone already knew Sarah's story. Young widow, 2 little kids, working herself to the bone with dignity. When word spread that her brother had quietly wiped out every debt she had, people were moved to tears. A local paper ran a feel-good piece. I stayed anonymous, listed only as a local craftsman. Suddenly the town had 2 competing stories. A brother saves his grieving sister and her children with everything he had. A girlfriend and her parents tried to force that same money into private college party fund for a spoiled 19-year-old. Guess which version people believed? Robert and Carol, who spent decades polishing their image as charitable community leaders, watched that image crack and crumble. Invitations dried up. Board seats disappeared. They became the villains who tried to rob a widow for frat house beer money. Chloe's social circle scattered like startled birds. She's still living at home, radioactive. Leo is enrolled at the local community college and, rumor has it, actually has to work part-time for books and gas. Welcome to the real world, kid. I ran into Chloe once at the supermarket. She looked deflated, hollowed out. Our eyes met for half a second. I felt absolutely nothing. She dropped her gaze first. Sarah, on the other hand, is blooming. She quit the second job. The shadows under her eyes are gone. She laughs easily again. My niece and nephew have their mother back. That is what a real man does. Final update, 6 months later. Life is peaceful, strong, and entirely mine. My workshop is busier than ever. Weekends are for fixing things at Sarah's house, now truly hers, and chasing my niece and nephew around the yard. Sarah has even started dating a kind, steady guy who adores all 3 of them. Watching her heal is the only reward I'll ever need. Chloe's family has faded into a self-made exile. Robert and Carol rarely leave the house anymore. Their carefully curated reputation is ash. Leo is still grinding through community college and, by all accounts, hates every minute of having to earn something. Chloe sent one last email months ago. No anger, no demands, just a long, therapy-fueled message about realizing how warped her values had become and asking, not for forgiveness, but for a conversation so she could understand herself. I read it twice, then deleted it. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt, and I'm no longer in the bridge-building business. The perfect epilogue arrived last week in the form of a letter from a local scholarship foundation for children who lost a parent. An anonymous local family had created a decade-long full-ride scholarship in my brother-in-law's name, in honor of true family support. It wasn't Sarah. It was Robert and Carol, frantically trying to buy back the respect they torched. A clumsy, public attempt to look like the heroes they never were. I felt no triumph, no bitterness, just a calm, quiet certainty. They tried to shake me down for the bare minimum. Instead, I raised the bar so high they're still scrambling to reach it with their own money. My revenge was never destruction. It was construction, building something unbreakable for the people who actually deserved it. And the ripples from that one night, I walked away keep doing more good than I ever planned. That, my friends, is what a real man does.